So I've now had the CRKT Junior for about a month now. I thought I would do a little update on how it's performed over the past month, and if I'm going to add this to my actual ADC gear, and I'm going to compare it to my last two ADC knives. I want to say what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what I've done with it over the past month, and if it fits in with my ADC. Because it's a little bit different to what I'm used to carrying. I'm more used to carrying traditional slip joints and Victorinox knives. So, yeah. So I'll start off with what I've been using it for. So what I've used this knife for mainly is cutting zip ties, opening boxes, and I've cut the odd hose with it, and it's been great. It's never changed as far as play on the blade goes in the month that I've had it. It's never loosened up or anything, and there's no side-to-side play or anything with it. I have used it for what I would consider a hard cutting tasks that I wouldn't put on a normal slip joint. But obviously it's got the locking pin which turns it into a virtual fixed blade, which is the main thing that attracted me to this knife. I really wanted a illegal version of the Spyderco Delica, which has been my main work knife, because I don't trust a normal slip joint, obviously, like I've just said. So when this came out, I thought it was a perfect knife, and it has been the perfect knife. And it's definitely replaced the Spyderco Delica as a main work knife. So as far as my job goes, well, I've got two different jobs, I'll go into that in a second, but my main job is horticulture and ground maintenance, where I'm cutting heavy duty zip ties and boxes and hoses, and probably digging splinters out of my skin with, and carving the odd bits of wood. But as far as that goes, the knife's it's worked perfectly. Like I say, there's no side-to-side play or anything like that since I've been using it over the month. So my second job, I work in a charity shop around customers, and one thing I will say, I would never get this knife out in a charity shop, even if it is UK legal. This will scare the general public. It does not look like a UK legal knife, but I have gotten around that by including the Spyderco Grasshopper on my keychain. But away from customers, I have used this for cutting labels. You get these little like plastic things that go through with the label and then through the clothing item, with the price tag and whatnot. And I mainly use this just for cutting the plastic bit which attaches the price tag to the clothing, and it's been good for that as well. I've also cut a lot of zip ties with this as well, but yeah, it's been good for that. But like I say, I would never get this out in front of customers, just because it looks a little too aggressive, in my opinion anyway. Yours might be different, but if you would like to try it, then get this, buy it, and get this out and wave it around in public and see what happens. And if you do that, then please let me know, because I would be interested. It is UK legal, but it doesn't look UK legal. Sergeant Fruitcake recently did a video, I think it was last week, where he mentioned he's got a friend, or he knows somebody who had a Buka Plus, UK illegal knife, and he got it out on a train, and he was shaving hair off his arm or something to see how sharp the knife was, and he got that knife confiscated, even if it was UK legal. So, yeah, just because it's UK legal doesn't mean you can just whap it out and use it. You've got to use common sense with these knives, which again is the reason why I've got a Spyderco grasshopper on there. It's a tiny knife, and it's just non-aggressive, and the blade length is pretty much the same as the Journia. I think there's about 12mm difference. So I'd rather get this out than this in front of people. As far as in the house goes, I've mainly just used this for opening letters and preparing food a little bit. Cuts bread quite well, sausages cuts well, cheese cuts okay. It's a thin blade, so it does cut very well. So how does the CRKT Journia perform when compared to my last two ADC knives? Or UK legal ADC knives? Well, my Victorinox Recruit is pretty much identical. There's about 3mm difference there. And my Rough Rider Peanut, there's about 10-12mm difference there. Without the lock and pin in, it performs identically to these two knives. In pretty much every other slip joint knife that I've ever owned, there's no difference between any of these. This is the exact same. The retention on this blade without the pin in is a little bit weaker when compared to these two. But obviously this has the massive advantage of having the pin, which turns it into a virtual fixed blade, which is a huge plus. But besides that, there's no actual difference in terms of cutting performance between this and this. The main thing that attracted me to this is I don't like using normal slip joints when I'm doing my horticulture and ground maintenance job, because I'm cutting heavy duty zip ties and garden hoses, and obviously these being slip joints that can't slip on your hand, which is the reason why I like to carry a locking blade like a Spyderco Delica. But to be honest, I got my first knife when I was 10 years old. It was a Victorinox knife, very similar to this one. I'm now 27. I have never had a Victorinox or any other slip joint knife close on my hand in all of the years I've been using them. But I just like the added security of a locking knife. But I don't really need a locking knife. But anyway, there's a comparison between this and my last two ADC knives. It's identical, really is. Handle's a little different, it looks a little different, and like I say, the main reason, or the main thing that's different between this and these two is I would never get this out in front of average Joe public, because it just looks a little bit too aggressive, but that's my opinion. These two I'm getting out in front of people and nobody's being bothered by it. But this, a little bit too aggressive in my opinion. But if you're the sort of person that likes this sort of knife, I would highly recommend it. It's done everything that I would expect it to do. Only difference is, like I say, it's not very sheeple friendly. But that's the reason why I've got the Spyderco Grasshopper on my keychain. And I think the Grasshopper and this go together perfectly. The blade on the Grasshopper, the cutting edge on the Grasshopper is pretty much the exact same as the CRKT Journia. Only difference is this looks more sheeple friendly. I've had this for 3 years now. I've gotten out a lot in front of people and nobody seems to give a shit. But yeah, if you're not around people and you've got a lot of heavy duty cutting tasks to do, highly recommend this, and the added bonus of a locking blade. So for my other job, it replaces a locking blade like. So while I keep the CRKT Journey as an ADC knife, yes, but only as a hard use knife where I want a locking blade. This is definitely going to replace my Delica as a hard use work knife. As a general purpose everyday knife though, no, it's not going to replace that, because I would much rather carry a Victorinox as an ADC knife. Also, the next knife that I'm going to carry for a month now is a Rough Rider Dog Bone Jack, which is a knife that I've been itching to carry for the past month. And now that I've been carrying this for a month, I'm going to give this a try. So, yeah. Like I said, I would much rather carry a sip joint. It doesn't look aggressive, it just looks like something your granddad would have had. And it's a sort of knife that I love anyway. It's very attractive, at least in my opinion it is. So, as far as ADC knives go, these are my choices. This is okay, but only for hard use, and even then, because this is new, I guess time will tell how strong the locking pin's going to be. But this I fully trust. Tried and tested design, been around for a lot of years. But like I say, time will tell. So these are my choices for now for ADC knives, and this for a hard use work knife. So that's my little video on the Spyderco Journey. My opinion, it's a great knife, but not really for me as far as an actual ADC knife goes. As far as a hard use knife goes, a workhorse knife, it's a great knife, but not really something that I want to pull out in front of people. And these are by far still my favourite ADC knives after all of the years I've been using them. I don't think I'm ever going to find a better ADC knife, so yeah. That's my little video on my views and opinions of the CRKT Journey over the month I've been carrying it. Thanks for watching and goodbye. If you bothered watching, the battery on the camera kept on dying, so I'm sure this video is going to be a bit jumpy and skippy, because I can't be bothered to edit the bits out. But anyway, thanks for watching and goodbye, and I'll have my own little views and opinions on the Rough Rider Dog Bone Jackknife coming up real soon.